for anyone who touches a federal agent, and we are also going to protect our state and local law enforcement agencies and officers. The men and women every day around this country, whether it's a blue or red or purple state, are out there fighting crime. That's what they care about. They care about keeping every single one of us safe. That's what they're doing. They care about preventing drug abuse, drug overdoses throughout this country. And they jeopardize their lives every single day to keep us safe. And we are going to do everything in our power to fight for them.
Mrs. Dean.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member. Thank you, Ranking Member. Thank you, and welcome, Attorney General Bondi. I just wonder, sincerely wonder, do you hear how hollow your last words sound?
Let's talk about what really happened in this exchange between Congresswoman Madeleine Dean and Attorney General Pam Bondi. It got heated fast.
In light of the pardon of all of the January 6th people, day one of this administration, I believe you're sincere. You want to protect law enforcement, but your principal, the president, pardoned every single one on January 6th. It rings hollow when you say these words, that if you spit on a police officer, we're going to go after you. Talk to my friends who are Capitol Police officers who were here. 5 of whom are no longer here. They are dead. And this administration, and I guess I want to ask you, did you have any advice for the president when he came forward with the blanket pardon on January 20th? What advice did you offer the president?
I am never going to talk about conversations, advice in any way.
Were you asked
I'm
for
never
advice?
going to talk about discussions I've had or have not had.
You'll remember.
I can answer with the President of the United
Yes or no?
States.
Did you give him any advice, yes or no?
I am not going to discuss any conversations
That's a
that
no.
I have had with it.
And
You just put
your
words in
own
my
word,
mouth. I
but-
am not going to
No,
discuss.
I'm going to reveal your own words.
I am
Just a
not
moment.
going to
Please stop.
discuss
Please stop. This
conversations
is my
that I've
time.
had with the President of the United States.
Attorney
You asked
General,
me a question.
I would like to reclaim
and
the
you
last
asked
20
me to
seconds.
answer.
I have asked to reclaim my time. Please put 20 seconds back on the clock.
You have an extra 30.
If the general,
She answered and then answered it again and answered it again with a non-answer. I ask for your consideration
if the
of putting time
gentlelady
on.
will
You
let
got
the
30
witness
seconds
answer the
extra to begin
questions,
with.
we will
She
proceed.
answered it by saying no. Okay. The 3 hallmarks of this administration are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are 2 types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered as an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
The answer is yes. No,
hold
excuse
on.
me.
No.
No.
For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup. Anti-human trafficking
or
for the
no?
World Cup.
Attorney
you can't
General,
put words in my mouth.
No.
You want to talk about incompetence? You're the one that
Excuse
said
me.
Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words.
Mr.
So don't
Chairman,
talk to me. Don't insult me publicly.
this is so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden? Very strange and very unprofessional of you. The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist for Qatar. Is that correct? Yes. Never mind, don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before for the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no? No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the conflict that you had. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in. Is it true that you gave advice that this was legally permissible? Yes or no?
I will not discuss any advice that my Office of Legal Counsel gives to the President of the United States on any matter.
Executive privilege.
When you spoke before the Senate, you said you would ask for ethical advice. Did you recuse yourself from that issue?
And talking about unprofessional, you say the president wanted a jet because it's pretty?
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate, this is
He
a
said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself. Let me go to April the 2nd. You're a part of this, the president has dabbled in meme coin. He had the DOJ, disband the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. His son recently launched the Executive Branch Club, a private club with $500,000 memberships here in D.C. Any of this seem like it might be a problem, might be profiteering from the office, and maybe you and your ethics team might be concerned about these conflicts of interest, your own and the president and his family? Yes or no? Any concerns?
What I would be concerned about in Pennsylvania are all the child sex cases that we've prosecuted, all the CSAM cases
Did
that
you-
we've prosecuted
Did you hear
in
my question?
Pennsylvania.
I
That's
asked
what
the
I would
witness
be
to
concerned
actually
about.
answer questions that are asked.
Congresswoman Dean.
Chairman,
Please let the witness answer the question.
she didn't. And I would like to ask you one more question. You're not just complicit in this, you're actively helping and profiting. Isn't it true that on April the 2nd, the same day that Trump announced his chaotic tariff regime that plummeted the stock market, you sold more than $1 million worth of your shares in Trump Media stock? Trump Media stock fell 13% in the following days. Seems you avoided that loss. Well done. I yield back.
What makes this exchange so unsettling isn't just Pam Bondi's refusal to answer questions. It's how normalized that refusal has become. We're now at a point where the Attorney General of the United States can sit before Congress, dodge direct questions about pardons for people who assaulted police officers, sidestep conflicts involving foreign governments, deflect ethics concerns about personal financial transactions, and still act offended that anyone would dare press her on it. That should worry everyone, regardless of party. Because accountability isn't supposed to be conditional. It's not supposed to depend on whether the person being questioned shares the president's last name, worked on his campaign, or benefits financially from his brand. Yet again and again, we see a system where ordinary people are scrutinized relentlessly, while those closest to power are shielded by procedure, privilege, and strategic silence. The irony here is hard to ignore. This administration wraps itself in the language of law and order, paints itself as the defender of police and public safety, and demands absolute respect for authority. But when that authority is challenged by Congress, when the questions turn toward ethical responsibility and the rule of law, suddenly the answers disappear. Suddenly I can't discuss that. Suddenly process. Suddenly it's outrage at the tone instead of concern about the substance. And let's be honest about what Madeleine Dean was actually doing here. She wasn't grandstanding. She wasn't asking trick questions. She was connecting dots that any functioning democracy should be able to examine openly. Pardons that undermine police accountability, foreign entanglements that raise national security questions, financial decisions that conveniently avoid losses, and a Justice Department that seems more interested in protecting the president than protecting the public. What makes this moment especially troubling is that none of this exists in isolation. It's part of a broader pattern, the dismantling of enforcement mechanisms, the blurring of public office and private profit, the casual normalization of conflicts of interest, and the steady erosion of ethical guardrails that were put in place for a reason. These safeguards exist because history has taught us what happens when power goes unchecked. And watching an attorney general shrug off those safeguards should set off alarm bells. This is why hearings like this matter, even when they're frustrating, even when the witness refuses to engage, even when the answers never come. Because democracy isn't just about elections, it's about oversight. It's about asking uncomfortable questions in public. It's about forcing the record to reflect what was asked, what was dodged, and who benefited from the silence. If we accept non-answers as answers, if we allow ethics to be treated as optional, and if we excuse profiteering as just how politics works, then we're not drifting toward corruption, we're institutionalizing it. And once that happens, the people who pay the price are never the ones sitting at the witness table. It's working people. It's communities already overpoliced and underprotected. It's a public that's told to trust a system that increasingly refuses to explain itself. Madeleine Dean wasn't just questioning Pam Bondi. She was pushing back against a culture of impunity. She was insisting that the law apply upward as much as it applies downward. And the fact that those questions were met with hostility and evasion tells you everything you need to know about how fragile this administration's claims to integrity really are. So don't let moments like this fade into background noise. Pay attention to who answers questions and who can't. Pay attention to who benefits when the truth gets buried under procedure. And remember that accountability doesn't start with loyalty, it starts with courage. If you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what comes next. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Congress is doing enough to challenge this kind of power, or is the bar for accountability being quietly lowered? And if this helped clarify what's really at stake here, hit like and share it with someone who still believes these hearings don't matter.